Hello everyone,
Hello,
I'm Nako.
my name is Yuki.
So today we will talk about recognition of foreign judgment.
Yes.
According to US legal, the recognition of foreign judgment is occurs that when the court of one state accepts a judicial decision made by the other court and the other court of another state. So when a case happens crossing several borders, for example here between state A and state B, transnational law will decide which country has adjudicative jurisdiction. So here state A has that jurisdiction and can make judgment over the case. But state A cannot impose that judgment in state B because enforcement jurisdiction is strictly territorial and part of sovereignty, so the judgment made by state A should be recognized by state B's court. So it's recognition of foreign judgment. Today, each state has freedom to decide to recognize a foreign judgment or not when it's not obliged by some treaties. But such international situation made by through history. So in the past, people thought that jus commune, it means common law, is applicable for all people regardless of the nationality, and the feeling of comity between states, or especially between monarchs, and the expectation for reciprocity supported jus commune and let a state recognize and enforce a foreign judgment. However, because of the birth of idea sovereignty, international society needs more source for recognition of foreign judgment. Because sovereignty thought judicial power is strictly limited inside the territory. So there is no two ideas, obligation and the vested right. Some people started claiming that a defendant or court have obligation to accept a judicial judgment even when the judgment is made by a foreign court, and when an individual win a litigation and gain the vested right, that right should be protected even in foreign territory. However, the thinkers of these two ideas cannot explain why a judgment of one state can impose obligation or responsibility to protect right even outside the territory. Since all four ideas are vague and ambiguous, so international society gradually notices that they need more legal sources for recognition of foreign judgment. So today, here is three kinds of legal sources: domestic law, bilateral treaty, and multilateral treaties. And domestic law is differ from country to country, and when a country it states that when a country recognizes foreign judgment or not. And for example, Japanese law concerns the judgment is valid, effective, final, or conclusive or not, and the legitimacy of foreign jurisdiction, and the treatment of losing defendants, and the judgment compatibility with public order and good morals of Japan. And finally, Japanese court can expect reciprocal recognition of Japanese judgment or not by the foreign court. Then Yuki will explain an important case which affected the formation of system for recognition of judgment in Japan.
Alright, so I'm going to explain about a case called Mansei case. So there was a company called Mansei Kyogo, and this company, Northcon I, is a company in Oregon in America. And this Northcon I lawsuit the Mansei Kyogo company in California, and the lawsuit began. So in California Superior Court rendered judgment that Mansei have to pay compensatory damage and punitive damage for breaking the contract that the Mansei Kyogo company and Northcon company had. And Northcon company brought the case to Tokyo District Court to enforce this judgment that was rendered in California. So the judgment and jurisdiction was final in California, but to enforce it, the thing is different, so the Northcon company brought the case to Japan. And here's the result, what happened in this Mansei case. What basically happened is the Supreme Court of Japan admitted enforcing foreign judgment that was rendered in California, but only on the clause on the compensatory damage. But the Supreme Court did not admit it to enforce the judgment on the punitive damage side, because this punitive damage is against the public policy of Japan that is written in the Code of Civil Procedure in Article 200. So this case set out the standard of recognizing foreign judgment of Japanese courts. And this was from me.
Thank you, Yuki. So I will explain about bilateral treaties. It is a treaty between two countries which promise the reciprocal fashion of recognition of each judgment, and the more bilateral treaty is concluded when the state has more domestic rules, and it's often concluded between a country which have close relations or similar legal systems. So next is multilateral treaty. There is three kinds of multilateral treaty: global enforcement conventions, regional instruments, and conventions on specific subject matters. But here, in international society today, there is no global legal system for legal treaty for recognition of foreign judgment. For example, in 1893, there was the Hague Conference on Private International Law was established, and it has 82 members, still not all of states in this world. And the conventions are made in this conference, but that convention only effective when members ratify its conventions. So today there is no global system for recognition of foreign judgment, and each state still has freedom to choose to recognize or not still today. So, but international interaction between private actors are still increasing, so more legalization of recognition of foreign judgment is needed. And it is the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.